Hey everybody, gotta reach over here and grab my pencil. Hey, got another one for you today. Gonna be doing Marvel's Incredible Hulk. As soon as I find what I did with my pencil. And naturally it's right in front of me. Okay, cool. Live recording here, folks, so bear with me. So, as you guys can see, I've got this one going today. This is going to round out the first 12 that I have been doing with these. 12 days in a row. You guys have gotten all of these things. And I've been getting asked a lot if I'm going to do any of the ladies and things like that, you know, other stuff. So, yes, to answer that question, I will be doing some female characters here pretty quick. Just letting you guys know. Okay. Sorry, just getting everything going, getting a lot of comments privately asking if I'm live yet, which is hilarious. Look at the screen. But, yeah. We're going to get this knocked out. So, for me personally, I always like the Thing and the Hulk to have a bigger, broader nose like this, but have it stunted. Like the classic Hulk, you know, where it was really short and brutish, big block jaw. So, get this out of the way. And to be honest with you, I preferred the bigger, bulkier Hulk from the 60s, but it doesn't resonate in my style, so I stay away from it. But that's the one I actually prefer drawing if I'm going to draw it. And I tell you, to keep one thing going, just no matter what your style is, I'll tell you flat out. Hey Tom, thanks for coming on, man. With this, the big problem a lot of people have when they squash the Hulk is that they put in the wrong style of mouth for him. You gotta keep that, it's the nose and the mouth proportions that really pop it off for the Hulk. So you got to pay attention to that, because right in here, if you don't have that trademark divot right there, it will not look like the Hulk. But if you, it doesn't matter about anything else. No matter what your style holds, you've got to have that distinguished nose and lip. And if you don't, it totally changes the character. It makes him look different. It's really strange the way that works. But there you go. Because then you can come in with the classic soup bowl haircut, which I love doing on this character because it's timeless. No matter what he looks like, you can always go in and throw that down, and he always looks cool with it. And with my cartoonier style, this segmentation really works really well for popping that out. So and it makes it pop right off, so you can control pretty much all of it this way. And I don't like the modern spiky hairdos on the Hulk. I mean, it's cool if you're doing that type of Hulk, but if you're going to do the classic Incredible, you want to go more of the longer, flowy stuff like this, because it just resonates that character and look. Mark Ruffalo's version from the Avengers film, they actually used his teeth and all that, and if you saw the way they did his hair, it was actually modeled off of his hair as well. So I appreciate you guys coming on and checking this out, because I know it's Mother's Day, and it's very important to the ladies, and we here in the Linder household are doing something a little special later on today, so it's all good. Yeah, I'm cursed to be left-hander, just like a couple of my favorite artists, which I won't point out right now, but yeah, there's more of us than you think, man. There's more of us than you think. This is a lot tighter than I normally would do these cards. I normally do close-ups, but in this one I wanted to do something a little different because it is the Hulk. I want him to be massive as possible. So I did a farther shot, a longer shot in this one. But it's coming out alright. I think it's pretty cool either way. So we'll go from there and keep on trucking with this thing. But it was funny yesterday when I announced I was going to do this when I did the Wolverine for yesterday's live. I got a whole lot of young ladies popping up, and probably 150 messages or so asking me, when are you going to do some female characters? I was like, that's coming next week. Don't worry about it. That's coming too. That's coming cool. Next week, be cool, be nice, stay calm. It's coming. So yeah. That gave me a great laugh. I was like, it's in the schedule, don't worry about it. Just keep watching Don't put me out yet. Just keep watching. It'll happen. The funny thing about these is that since I've done them, this will be the 12th one so far in this live series, and I've gotten to where I knock them out fairly quick unless a lot of questions come up and stuff. But when I'm actually doing the drawings, it takes me like, I don't know, 10-15 minutes to ink it and color it in most cases, which is just wild to me. Where I normally spend about 20-30 minutes on these and hang out with you guys and answer your questions and whatnot. If I do them off camera, it takes about 10 minutes, which, like I said, I just love the fact that I can kick that out, because that's going to help me later down the line. I've gotten a lot faster on my page work too, so I was just like, hey, cool. It's a bonus effect. I just did a no-no right there, if you guys can see that. You'll see that those lines go vertical, or almost vertical. And the problem with that is when you shade that way, it kills the illusion, because it's so close to this line right here and right here. So try to keep them on a tighter angle. But with these sketch cards, I've pretty much broken every rule possible anyway, so whatever works. If it's a rule that an editor's told me no on, I've actually done it as part of these cards, and it's just, it works. Whatever. My lines are getting a little even there on those pieces that are busting out. When my nephew, because I draw Jack Kirby style fingers, the big knobby blocky fingers, my nephew got into the habit of calling them Twinkie fingers, because that was his favorite thing when he was a kid. Now he's 14, but it's still, every time I draw a hand, it's just like, you're still drawing Twinkie fingers. But yeah, well, you know, it works. So and when I draw the knuckles, I draw like this weird diamond shape, and actually envision this right here being blocked off like that, and then running back with flesh around it, and then running back into that tendon right there. So, you know, this stuff is really mechanical. I thought Kirby used to block stuff out because, as Todd McFarlane, and I've mentioned before, you know, Kirby was just it. But he used to draw squiggles for knees. He used to draw this weird little, and I'll take a second and show you. He used to draw these boxes like this for knees. And then when he would draw the box, he would put in this little funny squiggle thing like this around it, and it looked kind of like a girdle. Like that, and then he would come in and block it off like this to give that knee effect with these couple of little lines in here and round it out, and that's the way he did it. It was really weird to watch, but phenomenal to see on the finished result. again, I thank you guys for coming on and hanging out with me on Mother's Day. I know a lot of people are big with mom and all that, and hanging out. Mine happens to be 400 miles away out of state, and hanging with my cousin, my brother, and my nephew today, so I'm good with that. I called and spoke with her this morning. Hope you guys all did too. Pay some respect to your mom. If you didn't, no judgment, that's your thing. But call your mom. So anyway. Especially now, because it's like late in the afternoon, so. I'll be getting message requests later. Stop telling me what to do, man. Don't ruin my life, dude. So, it's awesome. Whatever works. And by the way, hey Omar, thanks for making it, man. If you guys see what's going on, and you like it and you want to know what's going on with it, ask me questions. Feel free to post them. Just keep it on topic of the comics, please. And I will answer to the best of my ability. Also, check out this week. I am posting a new Art of Brad Linder page on Facebook. Not plugging. That's not why I'm doing this. I'm not plugging it. I'm just saying for being able to track my other videos on my timeline and stuff, because I know I do them as friends and whatnot, and not everybody gets to see them unless they're posted elsewhere. But if you guys see that and you want to track it up and find out what's going on with me when I'm not live, you guys can check out all 12 of these videos and every one that I'm doing thereafter, because I'm reposting them there for your benefit. As well as mine, that's where the cards are going to be. So if you want to hang and check that out, go for it. If not, that's fine too. But like I said, I appreciate you guys coming out and checking it out either way. I've also got some new stuff coming from Firestorm that's going to be posted on the Firestorm page as well. So grooving everything up, man. Moving production way ahead. I got a question here from Tom. I'm going to answer it real quick while I'm sketching here. Bear with me. When I do the comic shop, should I draw some cards? Yeah, man. Get with me after this as well, and message me, and I'll talk with you in some more detail about that, about how to handle hands and stuff. Because I have what I call the cupcake method. And I taught it at Comic Palooza and a couple of other cons that I've been at panels at and whatnot. And I think it'll work really well for you. It'll help you jump that up a lot, because that method is very technical. Very simple, but very technical in the way it builds up. And I think you'll benefit from it. So let me know, and I'll message you. If you guys want me to do a video on it, let me know and I will as well. But for now, to help you out in the immediate, I will message you on how to do that. So, but as far as drawing cards go, man, I would definitely draw cards. And a lot of people say, well, that's cheating. Well, because I draw these sketches out and the layouts beforehand. But I tell you what, go in with a bunch of, so you don't waste time with the people that are standing there rewarding you with their time and their effort of being there. Reward them with the compassion of understanding that they're there for a time and a reason. So get on board with posting your stuff early. And draw up, what I would do is draw up a bunch of these cards, sketch cards, pinups, whatever you're bringing. Draw them up a couple of days in advance. Then what you do is you go off and draw them out. Some of the pieces you get started and finishing them up and actually make them as commission pieces just to stick out there and sell. But you also bring a stack of cards like this with layouts that you say, okay, here's the deal. I've got these 10 cards I'm going to do, or 20 cards I'm going to do during the day. I'm there for 8 hours. I'm going to do these 20 cards. If you guys want them, put in your note for them now and make sure to get in line and show up so that they're not sold out. and then pre-sketch them like I've done this layout for every card in all these videos, lay them out, and get in there and do the work at the store live in front of them, just like I'm doing these. Because one, it'll keep you busy for the whole time, and it'll show your style and your art, and it'll get their attention, and it gives them an experience with you that is a personal level, which you don't normally get anywhere else. Okay? That's why we go to conventions and things, to see the artists that we love to see in action. That's why these videos work so well, and while everybody is watching, they're learning stuff as well. So, you know, you get that experience. That's why we all love these live videos, and we jump on them. But have yourself a set of them pre-made, and get them kicked out a couple days ahead of time, and then, you know, ask everybody, lay them out, and say, you know, I'd like this one, and put them in a sleeve, put them in a comic sleeve with a bag, and leave the sketch card in there and take it out as you draw it. That way, one, they're protected from anything happening, and two, you have everything posted for you to show what's going on. So they can pick which one you want, and you can draw it live for them as they give you that commission. And then you can charge. I mean, if you're going to give them away, that's one thing. If you're going to draw it random and give them away, that's one thing. But what I like to do is I like to charge about $10 a pop for them. That way it's affordable for anybody that wants to do it, and you also get the advantage of making a few sales for those pieces in your time and effort in your day. But if you want to do it as a freebie, you can kick out a lot of these cards ahead of time, fresh sketch like this, and build up your pieces. And then what you do is you walk in with your comic books, your pinups, your comic books, your giveaway bags, that stuff that they're going to buy from you while you're sitting there. You make grab bags that go with them, in clear comic book grab bags, so they can see all this stuff up front, and you put in your autographed sketch card right in the front. It's a custom card that you get for the day. You're going to sell 100 copies of your book, 100 cards in there 2 weeks in advance. Boom, you're done. You get something unique that they can share and post on social media. So, I mean, that is a huge thing, and nobody does that. So, you know, I know that was overkill for your question, but, yeah. If you guys ever followed me on any of the other podcasts, Comic Kickstarter or Geek Rep was a little while that I did a podcast. I worked on Will Robertson's show for a while. For his roundup, I did the comic book roundup on there for a while. You know, if you guys have ever heard me speak before or followed me on my stuff, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about with this stuff, because I talk about this all the time. You know, I got friends and family telling me, really, dude, you're going to put that out there? Oh, yeah, it's already done, man. Sorry. It's already done. And as you guys can see me sketching this out, I love doing this right here because it ticks people off to no end when I do this. It's like, why are you drawing the Hulk shoulder way out there? Well, the reason is because there's the top of the shoulder right here, and then we put in this muscle right there on the shoulder. And I like to pop it off because the madder he gets, the bigger he gets as well. So I start the shoulder right there and start the arm lapsing out this way. And then put that big undercut for the bicep right there. So you guys can see that. And the reason I do that is because when he's all bulked up like this, his muscles extrude in a different way and not necessarily anatomically correct. Because down here, you'll see his forearm should be right in here, but it's not. It's actually out over here. Because this is his leg back here. And his arm goes out this way. And I know that looks a little funky, but it works. It really does. The way he looks and comes off. And when it's colored, you'll be able to see all that, and it work anatomically. But anyway, as far as the card project goes, I hope you guys like that idea and use it. Feel free to, and go from there. Draw over my lines a little bit here. It's a sketch card. We can do that. But yeah, this thing's coming along, man. Yeah, that's cool, man. Like I told you before, this is something that needs to be done, and nobody reveals that stuff for some reason. Everybody hangs on to it, and I just don't. I put it out there as it's needed, so. I was just talking with a friend of mine the other day about that whole thing. You know, it's, well, what do you tell? What do you tell? You got a new book coming out? What do you tell? I tell everything. The reason I do is because of the fact that I want you to succeed. If you're not succeeding, you're not buying my stuff, so I want you to do that. I mean, sadly enough, I've been associated with over 400, just in the last couple of years, I've been in over 400 Kickstarter campaigns, but the funny thing is, the 2 that I did for myself for Catman flopped. They fell right on their face. Because I didn't follow the sequence, I just put the stuff out there and expected my fans to jump on, which everybody told me, you know, you got the following, you can do it, you can do it. And I was just like, okay. And then I didn't plan for it, and I didn't market for it, and I put it out a week in advance. I started promoting it a week before the thing went live, and oh boy, did I get spanked for it. So, you know, the experience is definitely there. I don't tend to draw in every little muscle as well, because I've got an open animated style, so I'd like to keep it open. But there's a lot of people that ask me all the time, well, why don't you put that stuff in there? That's supposed to be in there. You know, you put that arm in the wrong place. No, I didn't. Just wait till it's colored. You'll see what I mean. Well, why do you shade some areas and don't shade others? It's okay. It really is. I use this contrast thing to where I go in way differently than most people, because I'll use non-contemporary means. Well, non-conventional. Let's say non-conventional, not non-contemporary. But it's more contemporary what I do. But anyway, I'll have like this. You'll see that knuckle right up here, and you'll see that hand coming down, you know, the fingers coming down this way for this hand. And instead of contrasting with deep blacks right up underneath here, all the way across and all that shading and stuff, I'll have a light coming in from this way where you'll get the backlit knuckles right in here for the curve of the hand, like that. And it'll separate the fingers just a little bit. Right in between. And then I'll put a drop shadow right here on this side of the first knuckle of the fingers. First joint of the fingers right there. So whenever you hold it up, it looks like the light's coming down this way across the hand, and it's highlighting back this way across all of this from here. So then you've got another light coming in from this way, which would be a natural highlight, which I don't like doing a lot of, but once in a while. So I'm going to put in the collarbone and the chest and all of that. And see, zing, all of a sudden it works, right? Remember I told you that shoulder is going to look jacked up, but the thing is, now I've drawn in the collarbone right here. I don't want it to overlap that hair, so I'm going to put that in there a little bit. And then, there. Now it makes it pop right off, because all of this up here is in the neck muscles. Then you have the shoulder, which is deltoids and all that. Then you got the pec muscle right there. You got the mark of the arm back there. The forearm right here, which is in the foreground above the bicep. Then you got the fingers in the hand right there. It's all relative. You make it pop out. So well, ask away, man. I mean, while I'm here, I mean, that's fine. I'm open to do that. Now, here comes the big bulky part, which everybody goes, well, you should draw the thumb way out here. And you'll see my guideline right there for placement, just in case, because I like to crunch it down. But where I really like to put the thumb is right here, because it tilts it just a little bit more naturally. And then come in with that big fingernail, which we all know, you know, this dude his manicure build just totally blows. And a good part of that thumb is still way back here, up underneath those knuckles. So you have to draw that back. But again, no blocky, stubby fingers. I just really dig that. Always have. It's a very clean style for that. And in this case, I'm going to put this little black mark right here. Because with his being tucked down, you want to make sure that it's nice and round. And pops out. And I probably should have drawn that a little bit bigger, but on this one it's kind of tilting down at that angle, so we'll crop it right there and leave it be. And now we have to get the traditional big black eyebrows. And like I said, remember that mouth when you're drawing the Hulk. Draw that out just a little bit, because it really makes it pop and look signature to him, where sometimes it can go weird on you. Here's the other leg down here. Gonna put in the ripped pants here. Okay. Now, before I go back to the eyes here and finish this up, I got one more for you. This one's a cool one right here. Be sure and add that little trim layer. All you're doing is adding, I don't know if you guys can see that, all you're doing is adding just a little bitty double line for every opposite side of the fabric that you want to pier up. See, you put in a thin black line on one side, you put in the double piering line on the other, and it'll make it pop off. Like, we wouldn't see this side right here, but we would see that right there under that next point. So whichever side that you see, thicken that up just a little bit to a pose. And for some reason, it shows a really cool effect for fabric. I've always done that. I don't know why most people don't, because fabric has a thickness to it too. It's, you know, it's got a depth to it, and a lot of people just show it as ripped material and fold it back, and I hate that. They just say, you know, here's the cut, and we'll put it this way so it opposes itself. We'll put it like that, and they never do that line right there, you know, to show that three-dimensional look and make it look popped up. What they do is they draw these little squiggle shreds in here and this weird stuff, and then they'll just leave that folded up like that. I don't understand why people do that, but they do. So just pay attention to where your light sources are as well, because whenever I do this, instead of drawing in drop shadows from these pieces, like, you know, you're not putting any shadowing for his arms and stuff where these rocks are. Well, the thing is, I don't want to do that. I want to draw that in with the color, and it'll be very subtle. That's just my approach, but it is what it is, so cool deal. I'll put in another tear right here. Again, draw out that little line. You guys will be able to see this up close when I post the finished picture, and go from there. And to add a little shading and texture, I'm putting in a couple of lines here just to show this is fabric and it's a little different. Separate it a little bit. So it'll pop off. Now, with these here, put in little squiggles, little scratch marks, little pebbles, little pit holes, that kind of thing. Kind of detailing this out a little bit. Put a nice little fracture ridge right there. That's about got him other than the eyes right here. Now with the Hulk, I always like to come in from the top and make him looking down out of the top of his eyes, because it's got a more menacing look to it. But you have to be careful to angle those suckers the right way though, because if not, you'll make him look like he's crossing his eyes and it looks weird. So the way to do that is take the center, the iris, and tip it over to where he's looking to one side. Because with the Hulk, he's got dark eyes, so it's weird unless it's close up and you get to see the green. But when this tight, just tip it to one side and it'll look a lot better, and it'll make him look like he's looking off this way, rather, like at my fingertips, rather than going out here and looking off like, duh. So, but we've been knocking this out about 30 minutes now, so I'm going to go in and do a couple quick details here, and then I'm going to call this done so that we can move on to the next phase, which is to color this bad boy up. Some light details here. Like that, and we will call this one done. Since we're going to highlight this with the green hair here, I am going to go ahead and block those out. It'll tend to make it pop out a lot more so you guys can see it. Almost forgot. That's one thing that doesn't change about the Hulk. If you watch this guy in proportion, he doesn't change in proportion. I'll leave you guys with that one. His ears they always stay tiny. He doesn't get, his ears don't grow. That always used to make me laugh when I used to watch the cartoons and read the old comics. And then in the 90s, they started making it more proportionate and whatnot. And, that 90s style with the spiky hair, like I talked about before, they made it more proportionate and whatnot. And it changed the dynamic for me for some reason. It was like watching Arnold Schwarzenegger painted as the Hulk. But anyway, we'll leave that for another time. And if you guys are interested in learning how to market these things, be sure and get with me on that too, because my marketing podcast starts this week as well. So I've been doing that for years, and it's part of what I do. And I guarantee you, man, we'll get you out there and show you how to do that properly. And you'll be able to follow me and see a lot of that stuff in action. So, but anyway, yeah, like I said, no plugs, just whatever you guys like to see when you hang out, kind of thing. I'm going to add this one down here because I missed it. But yeah, come on, check me out. Thanks for hanging out. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and the ladies that are checking it out as well. I appreciate you guys all hanging out with me. See you tomorrow. Later.